Am I muted? Yep, I'm muted. Hey everybody, Guilty here with an addendum to By the Numbers episode 6, where we analyze the data behind the accessories, the armlets and the ribbons, in Ninja Gaiden Black. JTB posed a great question regarding how the Armlet of Potency affected Runaway Lightning and the Izuna Drop. I didn't have the answers for him at the time, but I knew how to get them, and get them I did. Runaway Lightning, or Rushing Thunder, can hit an enemy a maximum of 5 times. The first 3 hits are while Ryu is on the ground. We'll specify these as melee strikes, and as I demonstrate here, the player can actually cut themselves short and prompt the second half of the string early, reducing the first half of the combo by 1 or 2 hits. At 48 points of damage with no accessories equipped, pressing Y too soon can rob the player of up to 96 points of damage. And regardless of the appearance of the latter 2 hits that make up the second half of the string, they are technically not melee strikes, dealing 200 points of damage each. I would call these physical strikes. Maybe you can tell by the sound effect used. Studying the animation frame by frame didn't help too terribly much, but these physical strikes seem to be with the haft of the flail as opposed to the sickle. I make a point to say all this because this is where the Armlet of Potency enters the conversation. First off, yes, from start to finish, Ryu is using the flails to inflict damage in this. I'm not going to try to make sense out of why any of the hits made with the same weapon are different from each other. I'm just here to tell you what's in front of me. The first half of the string, the melee hits, can be boosted 5% with Armlet of the Sun to 50 points per strike, or 15% with the Band of Power to 55 points per strike. However, Sun and Power have no effect on the 2 strikes that make up the second half of the string. As JTB points out, those attacks are different. With either Potency or the Band of Strength equipped, the opening melee strikes are unaffected and deal the expected 48 points of damage per hit. But the final 2 attacks are boosted 40% from 200 points to 280. I will concede this one attack does not determine the usefulness of the level 2 flails or the ideal armlet with which to pair with the flails, but it must be stated that with Armlet of the Sun, Runaway Lightning is capable of a maximum 550 points of damage. With the Armlet of Potency, however, the latter 2 hits alone deal 560 points of damage. The interaction between the armlets and the Izuna Drop is a bit more straightforward. With nothing equipped, Ryu will body slam a man-sized enemy for 1500 points of damage. Equipping the Armlet of Potency will bump that damage 40% to 2100 points.
Nice.
But JTB's question was about splash damage. For those who are unaware, any enemy who was directly below Ryu, or within maybe a meter, as he performs the Izuna Drop, will incur proximity damage in the amount of 700 points. Does the Armlet of Potency extend to those enemies as well? No, Potency does not affect splash damage. But wait a second, what about Armlet of the Sun? Although Armlet of the Sun does not affect the 1500 points of damage dealt by the Izuna Drop, it does affect the Izuna Drop's splash damage, bumping up that baseline 700 points approximately 5% to 734. And the same principle applies to the Ribbon of Power. Its unique 15% buff increases Izuna Drop splash damage from 700 to an astounding 805. What the fuck? A great question from one of the great legends of the NG community that led to some pretty cool research. Speaking of research, the rest of episode 6 will follow in just a moment. I committed a small editing error in the first version I published, and I also wanted to add more time for viewers to read the various notes I wrote. I just wrapped chapters 6, 7, and 8 of NGB, and maxed out a couple weapons with Muramasa, so rest assured, there is a ton of numbers content on the way. Like, subscribe, go outside.
Bitch!